Hi, everybody. Hey. Welcome to the first official day of Soup Club.
So Soup Club is where we get the soup at lunch and we talk about it. My opinion was that I enjoyed the broth. It was too thin. I didn't get enough of it.
The spice is actually healthy because we're all sweet today. That's no more true. That's why.
I give it a 3 out of 5 stars. 3
I give this a solid 3.75. 4.5.
Soup Troupe is really inclusive, and Soup Troupe is a place where everybody can just come and talk about soup when it's good and also complain about soup when it's bad, because we all deserve a good bowl of soup in our lives.
Danny Soup Troupe! I'm Danny. And I'm Danny. 1, 2, 3. We're here for you!
It's gonna be really hot.
Thank you, Soup Troupe.
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 My name is Danny.
And I'm Danny, and welcome to Soup Troupe Online.
Oh, hi there.
Oh, hi!
Hi.
What's up? Hello.
Hi! Hi!
Hey.
Oh, guys, I'm so excited to be on Soup Troupe.
Hello. I'm Danny.
And I'm Danny, and welcome
to Soup Troupe Online. We are so excited for this episode, you guys.
We have a wonderful episode planned out for you today with some amazing guests. But before we begin, I would like to talk about the importance of voting. Please make sure that you get out there and you cast your vote. It is now so important, more than ever, that we get out there and we get to the polls. So make sure that you have a voting plan and that you get those votes in. And I cannot emphasize it enough. Here at Soup Troupe, we please beg of you, go and use your voice and cast your votes.
Absolutely. So we have a great episode today, but first, why are we here? What are we doing? As some of you know, we started right at Frenchwood's Festival for the Performing Arts Upstate in Hancock, New York. There was a soup every day at lunch and no one talked about it, and that was a crime. And so Danny and I, along with my work husband, Cole Wright Shaner, founded Soup Troupe to make sure everyone had a safe space to talk about soup in their lives. And of course, with the coronavirus shutdown, we were so excited to move online and bring soup to you at home. And we are so happy to be here.
Yes, today we have amazing guests. And for the first time ever on Soup Troupe, we are proud to announce that we will be interviewing our first ever couple on Soup Troupe. Not only is soup the one good thing left in the world, but it also brings people together. So we are so happy to have two people who love soup very much. So Danny, would you like to introduce our first guest?
I would love to. So today we have Brendan C. Callahan. You definitely know him as the original Gary in Sing Street, coming to Broadway sometime soon when we can safely. But not only that, you must know that he also programmed some keyboard sounds for it. He did some design for it. He's absolutely insane, and we are so excited to welcome Brendan C. Callahan.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We are so excited to have you on the show today.
That's a deep dive. You found that I did some of the keyboard sounds for it.
Oh, we do our research here.
That's a secret fact.
We are not stalkers for no reason.
No, you have an excuse. You have a good reason.
All right. Welcome to the show. Our first question that we like to ask all of our guests is, what is your favorite soup memory? And also, since it is the fall season, what's your favorite fall soup?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm going to give a slight disclaimer before we get into soup talk. Now, I'm a fan of soup. I don't dislike soup, but I will say that I grew up and still am a bit of a picky eater. So I'm still expanding my soup horizons. So in terms of like going back in time to like soup memories, it's slim pickings for me. It's slim, but I'm still a soup fan. So I would say that my soup memory that I have, right? That was the first part of the question. Mm-hmm. Soup memory. My middle school was very close to a Panera Bread, which I don't know how high our soup standards are, but from my experience, I think that's some pretty good soups can be found there, especially in the bread bowl. Big fan of bread. So for instance, a broccoli cheddar soup in a bread bowl is something that was an after school. That's definitely a very specific memory is after school, going to Panera Bread, getting my bread bowl with the broccoli cheddar soup with also another side of the bread, the baguette also on the side to eat in addition to the bread bowl. Because if you dip the bread into the soup and then eat it, that's the best. That's, I think, the best soup vehicle, I would say.
Brendan, I have to tell you something. Me and you share the same favorite soup. Panera Bread, broccoli cheddar in a bread bowl with bread on the side, because if you take the bread from the bowl, the soup starts to pour out. So you need bread to dip as well.
Now, do you eat the bread bowl after you are done with the soup as well?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yes.
We waste no bread here at Soup Troop.
No, we don't waste bread here at Soup Troop. I would say that bread and soup they kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of
They really do.
perfect marriage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in terms of fall soup, is pumpkin soup a thing?
Yes.
Is it actually?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, of course it is. Of course, that would be a perfect soup. So, not that I've had that, but in my head, that sounds like a great thing. I love pumpkin pie. So isn't that just the same thing?
Pretty much.
I'll
Pumpkin soup is very similar to like butternut squash soup.
Okay.
It's got the same flavor.
I'm going to say pumpkin soup
yeah.
as an abstract concept for me. I'm going to say pumpkin soup.
So your homework for after the episode is to find some pumpkin soup somewhere.
I'm going to do a lot of soup homework, I think.
Okay.
And that was also why I said Maria knows about soup. She'll be better at that. So I think you'll find some more acceptable answers with her, but I'm trying my best.
All answers are good answers here at Soup Troop, unless you call stew a soup. So we know that you did the off-Broadway production of Sing Street before the transfer to Broadway, and you got to your first tech. We are so sorry about that, but we are ready for it to come back when it does. So the show takes place in Dublin. So first, we have to hear your Irish accent. That's
mandatory. Oh no!
And then,
oh goodness! I feel I'm gonna have to politely. That is so lame of me. But here, I have not done it since March 11th. I've not even attempted to do a tiny sliver of an Irish accent since March 11th. And I mean, I'll tell you a little bit about like the dialect coaching and stuff as a healthy replacement, because I think my Irish accent in my audition was maybe atrocious. I mean, it couldn't have been too bad, but like it definitely wasn't good. And it's apparently very specific, like because we're doing like I don't want to get this wrong, but like it's called like a Dublin 4 accent, which I'm forgetting exactly what area. I feel like it's like South Dublin or like kind of ish, but like different areas of Dublin, I guess, which makes sense. Is there's different like English accents, so why wouldn't there be different Irish accents? But like even within Dublin, there's different kinds of accents, and then it's also like which kid like in the show had different, upbringings. Like Brendan wouldn't talk the same as Johnny does in the show, because they both have like they're both in like different classes. So that is to say that it was difficult, because with an Irish accent, as I'm sure you guys, I mean, you're actors, it's like, it's hard, at least for me, to not either slip into Scottish or British, because it's so close to both of them. And it's such a very little fine line. So the way that we worked with our dialect coach, Deb Hecht, who has done like, I think the number is literally like 98 Broadway shows in her lifetime. She's this kick-ass lady who is amazing. She would just go like line by line. So like if I were to just take a stab at a random phrase in Irish, I'm sure it would pass, but it's not going to be like great. But if I were to remember my lines and say the exact lines, then at least in theory, I can do my lines in acceptable Irish accent, at least according to Deb. So it was interesting because I didn't think that that's how it would work, like just teaching us how to say our lines in the script. But I guess that's more efficient than like, here are the 1,000 rules of the very specific Irish accent.
I love that. So this is a niche question, but have you had any Irish soups, or are there any soups that helped you get ready for your performances off Broadway?
Mm-hmm. So we would have our lovely, what's her title? Associate producer. Her name is Yang Yang at New York Theater Workshop. She is the kindest person. She would bring us all of this like broth, like assortments, like just like things of broth. So it wasn't like a fully constructed soup per se, but we had lots of broth that's supposedly good for your immune system and your voice. I don't know, before a lot of shows. And it was always something different. And I did dabble in consuming it when it smelled good. So, but I don't know what it was, but I think it helped my voice and was a good pre-show thing. But then in terms of Irish soup, I had a feeling you were going to ask this question. So Maria and I did some research, and what sounds amazing to me is potato beer cheese soup. Sounds so good, and also sounds very Irish.
That sounds delicious.
Because have you ever been to like the Melting Pot or like something like a fondue restaurant? Like the beer cheese
good
is the best one.
And you have to dip it with the bread, right?
A motif.
Yes. Or also with the apples. I think it's so good. I think apples and cheese. I think it's so good. I think it's so good. So that would be my Irish soup, that if I had to order one right now, that's what I would order, and I would also order that right now. I think I'm kind of in the mood now. Sounds so good.
Yeah. So not only were you cast in the Broadway production of Sing Street, but you also originated the role of Gary. So I was wondering, what was it like originating the role itself? And are there any soups that helped you in the process of creating a character from scratch?
So it was really cool because the way that it worked in like the script that I got to like, read before my callback and stuff, complete in terms of the kids in the band, because it's about, for anybody who doesn't know, it's about kids in the 80s in Ireland who go to a Catholic school and start a band. That's the like very, very, very basic version of it. So all the band kid dialogue that I got in the original script is completely different than it is now, because we worked with, like, we basically just, had lunch with our playwright Enda Walsh, and like he was always around, and like we got very close with him with like specifically like the kids. He made it a point to like talk to all of us. So basically all of the dialogue and like the characters for each band kid are based on us. So it's crazy that like parts of my personality and like things that maybe I would say or jokes that like maybe I would, make in rehearsal, like that same kind of vibe is literally in the script for whoever plays Gary for the lifetime of Gary, which is maybe one of the craziest things of the whole process. Like that is insane to me, that some random kid 30 years from now who's doing it, who'd licensed Sing Street at, a community theater, regional theater, anywhere, is going to, say things that are only in the script because I had lunch with Enda one time. You know what I mean? So like, it's pretty crazy. And it's also a fun fact that I originally auditioned for the role of Kevin. They had cast everybody except for Kevin. And that's what I was doing for all of my callbacks, everything. And then when they called me to say that I got it, they were like, we think we're going to actually switch you with the kid who is cast as Gary, and he's going to play Kevin, and you're going to play Gary. I mean, it worked out. Apparently it was Enda's decision. So it was really cool to do that. And then obviously all the music stuff is based around us too. Like in the original script, Gary played, I think it was just all guitar. It was like what he was written to be like his instrument, but I play the keyboard for the whole show. So it's, they obviously changed that. And then as far as Soup goes, I would say that if Gary were a Soup, let me see. Gary's very like, in the current version of Sing Street, when I left it changed a little bit, but he's very studious and very cautious. So it would be probably a pretty plain Soup. What's like a plain, like something simple and sophisticated? I'm trying to think.
Like a chicken
No,
noodle.
but tomato's too easy. Chicken noodle, yeah. But like a classy, like in a nice bowl, and like a really nice bowl with like a fancy spoon and like a little like with a plate underneath the bowl, like not messing around chicken noodle, like sophisticated chicken noodle. That would be Gary as a Soup.
I love that. The overpriced chicken noodle at the diner.
Exactly. The overpriced chicken noodle in a fancy bowl at a fancy restaurant that is just from a can.
Right. Okay.
He's normal, but it's in a fancy container.
Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a question?
Yeah. So as a music director, a vocal coach, and a composer, what soups inspire you? And if you could write a song about soup, what would it entail?
Oh, goodness. So I think the way I would approach writing a song about soup or coaching let's go from writing a song about soup, is that I would maybe I would approach the verse as maybe starting, describing the essence of the soup ingredients, not necessarily the broth, not the container of the soup, not the vessel, but like the little ingredients inside the soup. So I would approach those in the verse, maybe subtly in the verse, and then take the chorus about maybe the soup as a whole, including the broth, including everything about the soup. And then maybe we'd take the bridge about what the soup is in, or the context of eating the soup, and then tie it all together in the end, and bring it really bring it home as the soup as a whole is more than just its individual ingredients. It's everything together that makes the soup the soup. That's how that's the format I would go in, and I would definitely put it in like a nice major key, because it's about, it's not going to be a sad song about soup.
Right.
E flat. Sounds right. That's random. But,
I'm going to give you some more soup homework. You have to write a song about soup now. I feel like you have the outline ready. You just got to write it.
I'm going to take it one step further and say that we're going to play it on Soup Troupe once it's ready.
One day.
Yeah.
One day.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Also, have to set the record straight. There was an awkward silence, and then I said, Danielle, do you have a question? But it was my turn. Like, it was my fault.
Okay, Danny, I guess I'll read your part.
Like, why is it I look at like my heavily highlighted paper, and it was my turn.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure I wrote this script. I kind of know what I'm doing. He's thrown me under the bus, but at least he gave me the credit I deserve.
He fixed it.
He fixed it by calling himself out, which I appreciate.
We're on here at Soup Troupe.
All right, now we are going to do our Q&A session. We have leave your comments for Brendan in the comment section. Leave some questions, and yeah, let's get that going.
All right, our first question is from Ursula Early. Feelings on seafood chowder?
No. This may be controversial. I do not like seafood. I'm sorry to anyone who does. And it's a little bit blasphemous because I'm from Massachusetts, like specifically like near the water in Massachusetts, where in the North Shore, where there's like seafood, like supposedly, I guess the best seafood, whatever that means. But I think it's all gross and grimy, and something about eating something that swam in the sea creeps me out to no end and does not taste good to me. That is my hard opinion on seafood.
I have to agree with you, Brendan. We have a lot of the same food
We
opinions.
do. I like that. Feels very comforting.
This is touching. Elia Chase says, what accent would your favorite soup have?
A nice, a good. This is maybe a boring answer, but like a nice, classy British accent, like a traditional, like if the Mary Poppins accents were good, that accent.
Okay, I like that. Mr. Nedway says, you're walking down a cobblestone street in Dublin. It's foggy. It's 2 a.m. You're starving and there's only one store open. It's a soup shop. What soup do you buy to accompany the late night stroll?
Well, let's see. So if we're in Dublin, it's probably going to be something pretty Irish, which would probably have some sort of potato in it. I mean, if I were to choose from any soup, it would be but the same answer from before, broccoli cheddar, because I mean, that's as comforting as it gets, I think, with bread. But let's say there's no bread. I don't know. I might need to choose something else. I might need to go with, if it's 2 a.m., maybe I'm craving some warm chicken noodle or something like that, like home.
Well, if we have the excess of potatoes too, you could dip the fry.
You could.
Soup.
I'm a big fan of that. That's what I do. I have a lot of fries and soup.
That sounds, I can't say I've ever done that, but my philosophy on life is that a side of fries goes with, I think, every meal. Like, not traditionally, like it doesn't on paper go with any meal, but what I'm saying is I will eat a side of fries with, I think, anything. With anything. So fries and soup.
Your final soup homework: broccoli cheddar with soup, and broccoli cheddar soup with French fries. Dip the fries in the soup. It is the greatest thing in the entire world. I had it here at college. It is scrummy. It is so good.
I will do that.
We have a segment coming up called To Dip or Not to Dip. Not today, but it is a whole segment in which we talk about dipping things in soup. And French fries obviously is one of the answers.
To dip.
To dip.
To dip.
Correct answer. Anna Stanley says, you've been set up. You are forced to marry one special soup, no questions asked. What soup do you marry?
A good vegetable soup. Because in a vegetable soup, there's many good qualities about the vegetable soup. You know what I mean? Like, there's not one vegetable, like all the qualities of every vegetable in a vegetable soup is a good quality. I feel like it has the most good qualities in it. So I would say a vegetable soup.
It has the most good qualities?
Yes. I stand firm.
What are the qualities?
Well, so for instance, if it's a potato beer cheese soup, all it has are cheese and potatoes. So that means it only has two things going for it. It's a great soup, but it's only got two traits. Whereas if it's just vegetables, if it's a good solid vegetable soup, then it's got carrots. That's good. That's a good thing about it. It's got celery. Celery is good. It's got whatever the hell else is in a vegetable soup, any vegetable. So if it has a myriad of vegetables, then it has a ton of great qualities, whereas potato beer cheese soup, as good as it is, only has cheese, beer, and potatoes, which are only three good things about it. Okay. So that is my explanation.
I respect it. We have time for one more question for Brendan, and it comes from Diana Demore. What would Baxter's brother's favorite soup be?
Brother Baxter's favorite soup would be something awful. So for context, he is the he's not nice. He's I don't want to say the villain. He's the bad guy at Sing Street, basically. So he would like something disgusting like seafood chowder. That's probably his favorite soup.
I love that. Okay. Well, that is all the time we have today. So I want to say thank you so very much for talking about.
Thank you, guys.
Make sure you get on all your soup homework.
I will. I wrote it down.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much, Brendan. We really appreciate it.
Well,
thanks, guys.
join us in giving him a 1, 2, 3.
We're here
for you. Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you.
That was Brendan C. Callahan. You could follow him on Instagram down below at Brendan C. Callahan. Don't get it wrong. He's wonderful, and we are so happy we had the chance to talk with him on Soup Troop today. We are also so very excited for our second guest, who is Maria Dalanno. She, within 6 weeks of the world, got into the University of Michigan for musical theater, then sent a self-tape for Miss Doubtfire on Broadway, then called back for Miss Doubtfire on Broadway, booked Miss Doubtfire on Broadway, went through the whole rehearsal process, did 3 days of previews on Broadway, and then the coronavirus came and shut down the world in 6 weeks. That's ridiculous. We are so excited to welcome Miss Maria Dalanno.
Hi! Thank you for having me.
We are so happy to have you here. Welcome to Soup Troop Online.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
All right, welcome. And as we asked Brendan, what is your favorite soup memory? And also, what is your favorite fall soup?
Okay, I love soup. I absolutely love soup. I think it's like my favorite food. So I just want to say that I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. I think that one of my favorite soup memories roots back to when I was very, very young. My dad's parents are very Italian. I'm actually like pretty Italian, even though I don't really look like it, but I actually am pretty Italian. So growing up, my grandma would make Italian wedding soup, and I remember loving it. I think that soup is so good with like the meatballs and the vegetables. So I really like that. But a recent favorite soup memory is during like the craziness of college auditions and like pre-screens, my mom and I would go to this Thai restaurant by me, and we would get like Thai spring noodle soup. It's like really brothy with like those good like Asian noodles. Oh, it's so good. So either of those are my favorite. And my favorite fall soup. I like a good hearty vegetable soup. I don't know if that counts as a fall soup, but maybe if it has some fall vegetables in it, like squash or something. Zucchini, is that fall?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love vegetable soup. That feels like fall to me. I think.
Vegetable soup has a lot of really good qualities in it. So
Yeah.
that's the way to do it. I am Jewish, and so every year for Christmas we go to a Chinese restaurant really close to my house. Except for last year, they closed down the Chinese place, and we felt like we would betray them if we went to another one. So instead, we went to a Thai place, and we got soup. And it wasn't the spring roll one, but my mom is obsessed with it now, and she makes the soup like at least once every 2 weeks.
Oh, yum. It's so good. And sometimes it's a little spicy. Oh, I love it.
It's
so
really
good.
to die for. It's very like cleansing.
Yeah.
So we are very sorry that Miss Doubtfire has been postponed, but you made your Broadway debut live on stage. So exciting. What was it like being an understudy, first of all? You understudied Miss Annalise Scarpacci, who was
Yeah.
last 2 weeks ago. And so that's the first question. That's part one. And then part two is that are there any soups that help you to prepare for like an unexpected performance of Lydia?
That's a good question. Well, firstly, I really couldn't have anybody better than Annalise to understudy. She was just so welcoming to me and so like comforting just to be with. I spent like every single day with her. We got like really close in that month that I was there. Like I literally lived at her apartment kind of. She like really took me in because I'm from Ohio, so where I'm from is very different than New York City. And so living here on my own for the first time was crazy on top of making my Broadway debut. So I was very grateful to have her. But being her understudy was so much fun. My main responsibility was to watch her and take notes on what she was doing. So I just got to watch the show like every single day and watch all the incredible people in our show because we have the craziest cast. We have like crazy people in our show. So it was like so fun to get to watch the show and like watch them work every day and take notes on them. So I learned a lot from that. But I had a great time understudying Annalise. It was so fun. And a soup that would help me with an unexpected performance. It would definitely be a reliable soup, one that I knew I really liked, and one that was really comforting, that would really calm me down. I'm trying to think. It might not be I was going to say the French onion soup. And I was going to say that's not the prettiest soup to, I guess, eat before I would sing, but minus the cheese, like the broth of the French onion soup and like the bread that's in it. Oh, like the soggy bread pieces. I usually don't like soggy bread, but in the soup, it's so good. So I just take the cheese off and eat that because it's a good broth. I think maybe that.
As a dancer, I want to ask you: are there any soups that help you keep your body in like tip-top shape? And are there any soups that you like to enjoy before a rehearsal or a performance?
Yeah. Keep me in good shape. Something very nutritious like vegetable soup. I know I already said that, but I'm also vegetarian, so I like really love different forms of vegetable soup because there are so many different kinds. So I'd say a good classic like vegetable soup. When I would be in rehearsals a lot, like at home before I moved here, just for like different shows and dance rehearsals and stuff like that, a go-to was Panera's. I don't know what it's called, like 10 vegetable soup or something. It's so good, and I would get that all the time just because it's quick. And I would always eat that. Like, I think I ate it like 5 times a week, like Monday through Friday, like every day. So that's a good one. I recommend it.
I love that. I wonder if, like, a soup like that, if it's always the same 10 vegetables, or if they, like, feel saucy and, like, throw in, like, some tomatoes.
I don't know. That's kind of fun if it would be a surprise.
I hope so. So we know that Mrs. Doubtfire, played by the lovely Ron McClure, cooks during the show.
Oh, yeah.
So that's insane, number one. But number two, if producer of Broadway, whoever one is, says that they're making the Maria Dalanno musical, what soup are you making? Number one. Number two, how is that relevant to your life and like the story of Maria Dalanno the musical? And then number three, you're obviously playing Maria. Who is playing the soup?
Wow. That is a crazy question. That is a good question. I admire your unique questions. That's crazy. Okay, so what soup would be in my musical? It's a very good question. I find that I really like Asian soups. I don't know why. I just love like udon soup and miso soup and like egg drop soup, if you've had any of that.
Yeah.
So maybe a good udon soup because I really like the thick noodles in udon soup. I really like the texture of those. And it has so many different layers. We've been talking about layers a lot. But it has a bunch of fun ingredients in it. So I feel like there's a lot of different stuff going on, which kind of represents my life because especially in high school, I did so many different things. Like I was a cheerleader and I danced and I was like in the school newspaper and doing like theater rehearsals and just crazy stuff like that. So I think that kind of speaks to me, like being really busy, but also following the same trend throughout. So maybe it would be udon soup. And who would be playing the soup?
Yes.
Is that the other part? Oh my gosh.
Anyone. The casting pool is completely open. Equity, non-equity. You can pick anyone in the world.
Oh my gosh.
And then obviously that determines their vocal range, depending on who you pick. Like a me, like bass, or be belting, like what's going
on? This is so funny. The first thing that came to mind was my best friend Mitchell. We love to dance together and we do a ton of shows together, like in high school and stuff like that. So maybe he would be playing the udon soup. I don't know how he'd feel about that, but maybe we could do a fun duet, a dance moment, maybe, as udon soup. I don't know. That's a really good question. That's so funny.
I love that. All right, we're going to introduce the Q&A right now, so leave your questions for Maria down in the comments below.
All right, our first comes from Anna Spenley. She says, you look up. The ceiling starts caving in. In moments, you will be covered in soup and it'll be flooding your room. What soup is it and how do you escape? Boat, swim, drink.
That is so funny. The first thing that came to mind was like a creamy soup because I feel like if it was too brothy, then there would be nothing to move through. You know what I mean? So I feel maybe like a loaded baked potato soup. That is so good. That is a classic. I used to eat that all the time with like bacon and cheese. Oh, that soup is so good. So maybe a loaded baked potato soup. And my tactic would be to grab onto the potato chunks and maybe float on them if they would float while I'm moving through the soup to get out of the flood. That sounds kind of right in my head. Maybe.
Good to know. So
Maybe
my
not.
follow-up question for that is, are you recently a vegetarian, or does the bacon not apply in baked potato soup because it's so good?
That sometimes bacon doesn't apply to my vegetarian diet. I love bacon so much, and I secretly ate a piece of bacon a few days ago, which is but I'm actually a really good vegetarian. I don't eat much. That was like the first time in a long time. But I became vegetarian, I think, a year and a half ago. I think. But I caved for bacon, so maybe I would eat the bacon and loaded baked potato soup.
I love that. Medway says, if you could replace all the water in a water park with one soup, what would it be and why?
That means it would be like flowing down the slides and everything. I'm just picturing like going down a slide like in a stream of soup.
That's actually a good question. I've never
That's
thought
a really good question. Maybe like a tomato bisque.
Okay.
I like because it's smooth, and I feel like there would be because something with like noodles in it wouldn't be very good to like jump into or like to go down a slide with it. It would just make a lot of friction, I think. So maybe a tomato bisque, classic and smooth and reliable.
Bang the tomato out of your ear after.
Oh my god, that visual is so funny. Maybe that.
All right, our last question for today is from Elia Chase. She says, if you could fry a soup like you fry butter, what soup would you choose?
Fry a soup like you fry butter. Something I'd like to cook a lot of food in then. I use butter a lot. I'm stumped. I don't know. I was trying to think. Maybe like a nice I was gonna say like southwestern black bean soup, which is really specific, but I love that soup.
So good.
And I eat it a lot. So I was trying to think of something that's as universal to me as butter, and I feel like I eat it all the time. I always can rely on the fact that I'll want to eat that soup. So maybe that.
Like a soup dumpling? Like you have like a crispy exterior and you bite in and there's some soup in there?
Actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, don't those exist? Like the soup dumplings? I've actually never had those, but I know that I would love them.
They're really yummy.
They're also like an Asian food too. I think I would love that so much.
So that's your first article of soup homework, is to find the soup dumplings.
There's a bunch of places in the city where you can get soup dumplings. It's a delicious delicacy. So good.
I will remember to do that.
A package of soup.
Yum. That sounds perfect. I love that idea.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
But wait, there's more. Today on Soup Troop, we will be playing a game. Danny, would you like to introduce it?
I would. So, Jenny, I don't know if you noticed, but Maria's apartment looks a lot like Brendan's apartment.
Wait a second.
They might be together. So, first of all, I can't stress enough, if you want to follow Maria on the social medias, you must follow her at Maria Dalanno.
Yay.
Very important. Very good. But Brendan, are you in the room? Is that what
I might be.
Let's get a chair. Yes. So this is our first time ever having people who know each other on the show. That's very exciting for whatever reason. Broadway themselves said that Broadway's offstage couple is coming today, which made me laugh. And so here we are. So welcome back.
Yay.
We were dying at the wording in that article. That's the first that in writing on Broadway where we're like,
yeah, that's the first time we do that. So funny.
All right. Well, welcome back. Our first question is, are there any soups that you like to make together, or do you have maybe a soup date night?
We should.
We might need to have one tonight.
We actually do cook a lot, though. That's like, because when we both were home, like after the shutdown, because I was in Ohio and he was in Boston, we would like randomly bake like at like 5 in the morning. I know that's
On
not
FaceTime.
soup. Yeah, actually,
We
we'd like make cookies on FaceTime
At
for
the
no
same
reason.
time.
Like just like at 5 in the morning. It's so weird. But once we came back here, we cooked a lot.
Yeah.
So what would something be, a recipe that we could make into a soup?
We could make
Maybe a
anything.
dessert
We
soup?
kind of made a soup the other
Oh.
day. It wasn't a soup, but it could have been a soup with one more ingredient. The stir fry.
Oh yeah, we make Asian stir fry, and usually it's with rice, but we decided to use like ramen noodles. So if you added like a vegetable broth or like
That's
a
a
miso
soup.
broth, a miso broth would be
We
really
should
good.
do that tonight.
We actually should.
We'll do it tonight.
That sounds
Tonight is a soup date
delicious.
night.
That's inspiration.
Perfect.
I really want video documentation of that. I want
We
to,
could make a video.
We should.
Yeah. like a thank you soup troop. It'll go on there.
Thank you, Soup
That's
Troop.
perfect.
That's actually perfect.
All right. Well, we have a special treat for you guys today. It's the first ever Soup Troop Couples Face Off. This is a game that we have created here. And how this game will work is Danny and I will take turns describing a soup, and each of you have to guess the name of that soup, and whoever guesses it first gets a point. And if you do not guess the soup, it goes over to the other person who can steal your points.
This is
We
so
all
much
know
fun.
who's gonna win this,
This
but
is
I'll
so
give my
much
best
fun.
shot. I'll give my best shot.
All right.
All right,
The best partner win and break soups, guys.
break soups.
I like that.
That's what that meant. When you, I was like, what is break soups? Okay, anyway.
Break legs.
I was like, what is that?
Break soups.
I like
When
that.
you said it out loud, it made much more sense. Okay, Maria, this is a creamy soup, and it's traditionally paired with grilled cheese.
Tomato soup. Classic homegrown tomato soup.
Maria. All right, Brendan, this is a soup that has a layer of stretchy cheese. The flavor of the soup also makes for a fabulous dip with some potato chips or pretzels.
French onion.
Yes, point for Brendan.
All right, Maria, this soup is made with tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, and it's cold, and it's originated in Spain.
Gazpacho.
Yeah.
Is that
Chin.
the cold soup?
Yeah.
That's the one that never mind. I think cold soup is not it's not my preference. I don't like it at all. And one time I was at sorry, not to interrupt the game with the story, but we were at some of the people in Sing Street were at this event, like, performing for whatever. Anyway, we're at an event. They were serving dinner. Sonia Taya, our choreographer, was there. I was sitting next to her, and they served this gazpacho soup, and I was like, fuck, like, this is too fancy for me to like not eat it. Like, I really don't like cold soup, but this is like it's like one of the things where they just like give you food like in courses. And I was like, I can't not eat this. But then Sonia herself, Sonia of acclaimed choreography fame, didn't want to eat it either. So I said, you know what? That's okay. And she's sitting next to me, like, I don't want it either. That's my gazpacho soup story, where I felt validated by Sonia because she didn't want it either. That was my
I
story.
love that. All right, Brendan, this is the most comforting soup. It is served when you're sick or you need a taste
Chicken
of
noodle.
perfection. 2 points.
All right, Maria, this is a soup fall favorite. It's sweet, it's creamy, and it tastes lovely when paired
Butternut
with-
squash soup.
Perfection.
How?
You just
Sorry to interrupt. I'm very sorry to interrupt
That
you.
was really
Butternut squash.
so intrigued.
All right,
How'd
Brendan.
you get that? Sorry. Okay.
That's okay. This is a soup. It's a fan favorite. You can get a hot bowl of this soup at a deli, a diner, or at Passover dinner.
Passover dinner. Matzo ball soup?
Yes, 3 points.
Wow. So we're getting into the final round. If there is a tie, we will go into a tiebreaker speed round.
Okay.
So Maria, this soup is made with meatballs. There's small circular pasta, and there's a lot of veggies, and it's quite the marriage of flavors.
Italian wedding soup.
Yay!
I hope you liked my pun.
I did, actually. Quite the marriage of flavors. That is very good.
All right, Brendan, this is the last soup, okay?
Okay.
This soup is an extremely expensive soup. It's quite fishy, and it is very fancy because of its pricey main ingredient.
Fishy. I don't know what it is. It's not. Oh no. I don't know.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Answer.
Oh no. Maria, would you like to take the steal?
I can try, I think. You said expensive?
Yes.
I'm going to guess lobster bisque.
Yes! Maria.
We have a couples Soup Troop face-off. Congratulations, Maria.
I'm so honored. Thank you so much. I'm going to put that on my resume. Thank you so much.
Oh no.
Oh,
He's gonna take a lap.
Oh no. Oh no, it had to be seafood.
it has.
It's all right.
So sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Good game.
Down
Good
now,
game.
but we lost.
Well, okay, you guys have so much homework that we're ready to hear about. And Maria, you are the first ever winner. So with that, thank you guys so much
Thank you.
for coming on Soup Troop. This was so fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
So
guys.
fun.
Good luck with everything, and please make sure that when Broadway comes back, you hit Sing Street and you hit Miss Doubtfire. It's going to be lovely, and you can catch these beautiful, amazing, soup-loving humans there. So thank you so much for joining us, you guys.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you so
fun.
much.
Everyone at home, join us in wishing them a 1, 2, 3. We're
Here for you.
We're here for you.
bye.
Bye, guys.
Yay.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Wow.
you guys for joining this episode of Soup Troop. Again, you have to go catch them in those shows. Danny and I will be there we're going to get soup and then we're going to go see them. That's happening. I've just decided. Anywho, you have to follow us on Instagram and Facebook and like this video and subscribe to Soup Troop Online. On Instagram, we are at Soup Troop Online, and on Facebook, we are we are Soup Troop Official on Instagram and Soup Troop Online on Facebook. You must. LMM123 loved this episode so much. Thank goodness.
You can read more about Soup Troop online on Broadway.com, and the link will be in the description below.
And with that, I'm Danny.
And I'm Danny.
And thank you
Was Soup Troop Online.
to everyone.
1, 2, 3. Have a super day.
Yay, we will play you out with a video.
Well, I mean, I think the simplest thing is that after everyone speaks, we say, "We're here for you."
And at first I was like, I don't know what that even is. And I came and it's such an important part of my day now. I never really tried the Frenchwood soup before Soup Troop. It really opened my eyes to a whole new part of the Frenchwood's dining hall.
Soup Troop is really inclusive, and Soup Troop is a place where everybody can just come and talk about soup when it's good and also complain about soup when it's bad, because we all deserve a good bowl of soup in our lives.
Well, I never thought that I could ever meet a group of people so welcoming and kind and loving.
I never have soup other than Frenchwoods.
We know the kitchen staff just works so hard making these delicious soups for us every day. And just Soup Troop is just the way we want to thank them and show that they're truly appreciated.
Being able to talk amongst my peers here at Frenchwoods about the daily soups has really enhanced my daily life.
Soup Troop has really brought me and Ray close together. I don't think we would have been this close if it hadn't been for the soup that we get every day.
It's really helpful.
We're here for you.
I felt like I was the only one who could express my love for soup in such a dynamic way.
Thank you, Soup Troop. Thank you, Soup Troop. Thank you, Soup Troop.
Thank you, Soup Troop.
Thank you, Soup Troop.
Thank you, Soup Troop. Thank you, Soup Troop. Thank you, Soup Troop.
Thank you, Soup Troop. Thank you, Frenchwoods.
Hey, Soup Troop, it's Cole. One of your founders. I wanted to thank Soup Troop for being such an inclusive space. I love you all. Keep enjoying soup and send me a mushroom and brie.